welcome to this tutorial. My name is Mrs. Duffy and today I'm going to talk to you about sourcing a document using Creative Commons licenses. And because you want a large file for your project, I'm also going to cover a little bit of that today as well. So when you're searching for your image for your project, and in this case I'm going to search for a flower, you need to use tools here in Google and then come down here, and from size I've selected large, and then from licenses I've selected Creative Commons license. So that's really important in the instance that you want a large image and you want to check the Creative Commons licenses on that image so that you're not breaking any laws. So I've searched for a flower and I found a flower that I like. Here it is here. Very nice flower. And it comes with a Wikipedia Commons. So what we can do is click on Wikipedia Commons and we can look at the flower, and you'll see that there are different size images of this file. So the original file is 2448 pixels by 3264 pixels. The file size is 2.33 megabytes. But this preview here, if you were to download that image, it would only be 450 by 600 pixels. Quite a small image, and there's some other sizes there as well. So for your project you want a very large file, and so you need to look for that when you're downloading your file. So once you're satisfied, you found a image that you like, and you need to also then check the license. So we're doing under Creative Commons, I'm allowed to, it's free to share, it's free to remix, so long as which means I can adapt the work, so long as I give attribution, so I acknowledge where the image came from. That can be a little bit tricky, so it's really important to note where you got the image from. And if we come down a little bit further of this wiki image, it says that it was submitted by Asaba 5555. So we would put a reference on our image, would stamp it with reference to attribution to Saba 555 and Wikipedia. So now once you've downloaded your image, we'll go, so I've used this original file image because that's the larger image. I download that to Photoshop. Here it is, I brought it into Photoshop now. Let's just check those measurements again to make sure we did get the right size image. So we go up to image and then down to image size, and in this attribution box, this dialog box here, it tells me the width and the height. Now the resolution on this is quite small. We can actually resample, we're allowed to do that, so I'll increase that to 300. The resolution. It takes a moment to do that. So I've already edited this image. Now I'll just zoom out a little bit. Control minus on our keyboard will allow us to zoom out and see the whole image. And then from that point on you can edit it in several ways. And so a quick little edit we might do is we might crop it. And we've done cropping before. So I'll just resize and take out a portion of this image and then accept it. So once I've done some editing to this, then I need to add attribution to the image. I'm going to do one more just to show you another little feature of Photoshop, a little technique. I know that you do need to do some editing for your project. We go up to filter and there's a filter gallery, and this is a really quick way of doing some filtering techniques. This dialog box is very large, so I'll make it quite a bit smaller. Now with this dialog box we've got a whole heap of features that we can use. So we can use a coloured pencil, we've got some brush strokes down here. I actually quite like this technique. There's another one down here, stylize, which is pretty cool as well. Let's try that one, go OK. And that's quite an interesting effect there. But there are many filters there, and the purpose of this tutorial is not to go through all of those at this moment. Once you're happy with some editing that you've done to your image, as I said, you need to give attribution. So what I would suggest you do at this point is we're going to add a shape to this image. So over here in our toolbar, we're looking for shapes. You may see a rectangle, an ellipse, you may see any shape there. So just look out for it. It's just underneath that arrow. And we're going to use the rectangle tool and select the color. I'm actually not too, I think the purple is actually going to be alright for this. And I'm just going to click somewhere down the bottom here and draw a rectangle across the base of this image. Doesn't matter if it goes outside of the image. Now, the fill is the color I'm happy with. I don't have to have a stroke, so if I want to remove that stroke, I can just double click on that and click on the arrow, and that will remove the stroke or the outline around that image. And the next thing is we need to put some text into it. So we're happy with that shape, and we just come up here to the move tool, and that will sync it, or it'll make it sit in there nicely, and we'll accept it. We need to put in the attribution, or whose work it was, where it originated from. So I'm going to put some text in there now. And so I'll just use the text tool here and just start typing. So I'm going to type Wikipedia, and the author was Saba 55555. Now you can't see this text at the moment because the color is the same as the background. So we'll come up here and we'll change that, make it a color that will stand out, and it's a bit too large as well. So this doesn't have to be very prominent. I've actually done it quite prominent here, but it doesn't have to be as prominent. So once I'm happy with all that, now I'll just bring this, see how this is on a this text is on a layer here, and I can actually move it down by just using the keyboard. If I use my move key, sorry. So with that, I should be able to just move it down with my keyboard. I'm going to bring it right down, and it'll probably help if I zoom in on my image. So I'm going to go Control Plus to zoom in, bring it down to that corner. It's about the size I want it. Now I'm going to select the layer for the rectangle, and I'm going to edit that. So go to Edit on the menu, and then Free Transform. Actually, I'll just bring that down so it hangs over it. That will be fine. And then click Tick. And now if I just get rid of that for a moment and I zoom out, you can see that you've cited your source down the bottom there. So it doesn't have to be very prominent, just make sure that you have actually cited where you got it from. And there you go. So show your teacher now to show that you've demonstrated, you've manipulated an image that has Creative Commons permission to edit it, so long as you've cited it.